Even though Portugal and Spain have shared a complex history characterized by both union and conflict, Portugal was never fully conquered or annexed into the Spanish kingdom. Despite periods of political union, such as during the Iberian Union, 1580 to 1640, and Spain's military interventions, Portugal managed to retain its independence. To understand why, we must delve into the intricate history of the Iberian Peninsula and the various factors that shaped the destiny of these two nations. The early Iberian Peninsula. The Iberian Peninsula, known as Hispania during the Roman Empire, has been a significant crossroads of civilizations for centuries. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century, the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe, established a kingdom in Hispania. Their rule was marked by the consolidation of Roman laws and customs, but was ultimately short-lived due to the rapid expansion of Islamic forces from Arabia. By 711, the Muslim general Tariq ibn Ziyad landed in Gibraltar, leading to a swift and significant conquest of the peninsula. This event marked the beginning of Islamic rule in most of Hispania, which came to be known as Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus became a center of learning, culture, and commerce. During this period, the region saw advances in various fields such as mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, contributing significantly to the cultural and scientific progress of the medieval world. The cultural and intellectual achievements of Al-Andalus, particularly in cities like Córdoba, Seville, and Granada, contrasted sharply with the political fragmentation and frequent warfare that characterized much of Christian Europe. The emergence of Portugal and Spain. The emergence of Portugal as a distinct entity began in the early 12th century, during the Reconquista, a prolonged period of Christian reclamation of territory from Muslim rule. Portugal's formation as a kingdom is credited to Afonso Henriques, who declared himself King of Portugal after a decisive victory in 1128. This declaration was recognized by the King of Leon in 1143 and later by the Pope in 1179, solidifying Portugal's status as an independent kingdom. In contrast, Spain remained fragmented into various Christian kingdoms, including Castile, Aragon, and Leon. The unification of Spain began with the marriage of Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile in 1469. This union brought together two of the most powerful kingdoms on the Iberian Peninsula and paved the way for the consolidation of modern Spain. The completion of the Reconquista with the fall of Granada in 1492 marked the end of Muslim rule in Spain and set the stage for Spain's emergence as a dominant global power. The Age of Exploration and the Treaty of Tordesillas. The late 15th and early 16th centuries were marked by the Age of Exploration, a period during which both Portugal and Spain embarked on ambitious overseas ventures. The Treaty of Tordesillas, signed in 1494, was a pivotal agreement between Portugal and Spain that divided the newly discovered lands outside Europe between them. This treaty was crucial in determining the spheres of influence and control for both nations. Portugal focused on exploring Africa, Asia, and Brazil, establishing a network of trading posts and colonies. The Portuguese navigators Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan made significant voyages that expanded Portuguese influence across the Indian Ocean and into the Pacific. Spain, on the other hand, concentrated on the Americas, with Christopher Columbus's voyages leading to the establishment of a vast Spanish empire in the New World. The competition for overseas territories brought immense wealth and influence to both Portugal and Spain. However, it also led to intense rivalries and conflicts over control of newly discovered lands. The impact of this period was far-reaching, shaping global trade patterns and influencing the development of colonial societies. The Iberian Union and the Restoration War. The Iberian Union, 1580 to 1640, was a significant chapter in the history of Portugal and Spain. After the death of King Sebastian of Portugal in 1578 without a direct heir, Philip II of Spain claimed the Portuguese throne. This led to the establishment of the Iberian Union, under which Portugal was ruled by the Spanish Habsburgs. Although Portugal retained a degree of autonomy, the period was marked by economic decline and dissatisfaction among the Portuguese nobility. The Restoration War, 1640 to 1668, was a successful effort by the Portuguese to regain their independence from Spanish rule. The conflict began with a revolt against Spanish authority and culminated in the establishment of the Braganza dynasty, which restored Portugal's sovereignty. The war and subsequent treaties reaffirmed Portugal's status as an independent kingdom and marked the end of the Iberian Union. 18th century conflicts and the Peninsular War. The 18th century saw a series of conflicts that often placed Portugal and Spain on opposing sides. The War of Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714, was a major conflict that involved much of Europe. Spain's Bourbon family compact with France contrasted with Portugal's long-standing alliance with Great Britain. The Seven Years' War, 1756 to 1763, further highlighted the geopolitical tensions in Europe, with both Portugal and Spain involved in various aspects of the conflict. The Peninsular War, 1807 to 1814, was a defining event in the early 19th century. Spain and France invaded Portugal, leading to a French occupation that resulted in the Portuguese royal family fleeing to Brazil. The war saw Portugal, Spain, and Britain forming an alliance to expel the French, culminating in the eventual defeat of Napoleon's forces. The war had a profound impact on both countries, causing economic hardships and contributing to the loss of their American colonies shortly thereafter. The 19th and 20th centuries. The early 19th century was marked by the decline of colonial empires and internal strife. Independence movements in Latin America, inspired by Enlightenment ideals and revolutionary successes, led to the loss of Spanish and Portuguese colonies. Brazil declared its independence from Portugal in 1822, while Spanish South America gained independence through the efforts of leaders such as Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín. In Spain, the 19th century was characterized by political instability and reform. The Carlist Wars, a series of civil conflicts over the Spanish throne, and the eventual establishment of a constitutional monarchy were significant events. Portugal also experienced political upheaval, including the Liberal Revolution of 1820, the establishment of a constitutional monarchy, and the declaration of the Portuguese Republic in 1910. The 20th century brought further challenges, with both countries experiencing periods of dictatorship. Spain's Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, resulted in the rise of Francisco Franco's authoritarian regime, which lasted until his death in 1975. Portugal was ruled by António de Oliveira Salazar's Estado Novo regime from 1933 until the Carnation Revolution in 1974. These dictatorships left lasting impacts on both countries, shaping their political and social landscapes. Post-war era and European integration. The post-World War II era marked a period of significant transformation for both Portugal and Spain. Spain's transition to democracy was a complex process, marked by the drafting of a new constitution in 1978 and the establishment of a parliamentary democracy. Portugal's Carnation Revolution led to the end of the Estado Novo regime and the establishment of a democratic government. Both countries joined the European Economic Community, now the European Union, in 1986, marking a new chapter in their histories. The present day. Today, Portugal and Spain enjoy a peaceful and cooperative relationship within the European Union. Their shared history, marked by periods of conflict and alliance, has shaped their national identities and cultural landscapes. The Iberian Peninsula remains a region rich in history and heritage, with both countries contributing to the broader story of Europe and the world. In summary, Portugal's ability to remain independent from Spain, despite various attempts at unification or conquest, can be attributed to a combination of historical, geographical, and political factors. The unique trajectories of each nation, from the medieval period through modern times, highlight the complex interplay of power, diplomacy, and national identity. The enduring independence of Portugal amid its larger neighbor Spain is a testament to the resilience and agency of nations in shaping their own destinies against the backdrop of broader historical forces. The story of Portugal and Spain is a testament to the intricate and often turbulent history of the Iberian Peninsula. From Roman rule and Visigothic kingdoms to Islamic conquest and Reconquista, each period contributed to the shaping of these nations. The Age of Exploration brought both prosperity and rivalry, while the 19th and 20th centuries witnessed dramatic political transformations. The post-war era and integration into the European Union have ushered in a new era of cooperation and shared prosperity. The enduring legacy of these historical developments continues to influence the cultural, political, and social dynamics of both Portugal and Spain today.